This is MP Cards and Games. If you've been paying attention to my channel lately, my like photo thing for my like YouTube channel has changed. I updated it just to make it look a little cooler. And I'll be doing. I went to on like the same week as the LDS and the YCS Prague, I think it was. On the 18th, there was also in Australia, there was a regionals at Chatswood, Sydney. I live an hour away from there, but I still went. I didn't win the event, but I was playing Yosenju. And this is my deck profile. I had to drop out after round 5, and I'll give a few stories during the deck profile. I run 2 Maxi. 1 Fossil Dino I only got fairly recently, which can be good for first-term players. I did do a bit of play testing with the deck. It's good, but like if you open it later on, it's not as good. Got 3 Karma number 1s, got 3 Karma number 2, 3 Karma number 3. This is a 46 card deck. Normally I would do 40, but with this variant, one good thing about it is 60 card decks won't mill as much, and you can just put in more like good cards. At one point I was thinking of like not having the maxis, because sometimes they're a bit dead if you draw them like way after, which I did see that in the tournament. I also run 1 Sujik, and then for my Kaiju engine I only run 4, even though this is Yosenju Kaiju. I run the 1 Kumungus, 1 Gamma Seal, 1 Star Destroyer Kaiju, and 1 Thunder. The combo you can do though, which is really funny, is you have 1 and another Karma, like any other Karma, and you tribute like your opponent's monster for a Gamma Seal or even one of the higher Kaijus, and you just bounce it back to your hand, because 1's effect bounces back to the hand. That's one thing I've always loved with this deck since I started playing it with the Kaiju engine. Also, talking about Kaiju's, my board wipes, 3 Slumber. I used to only have 1 in my old one. I thought I had 2, but I must have only had 1 because I rewatched it, and I did buy 1 at YCS and got 1 off my friend. But I always thought I had 2, but I only had 1. I run 2 Dark Hole. This is like debatable, but some games, like when they had like a really hard board to deal with, like with protection, it was sometimes nice to have Slumber and Dark Hole. So you activate Dark Hole first, they negate that, and then you activate Slumber. A few other spells, I run 2 Duality. I used to run 3, but like you'd rather put a few other better cards in here than this, because if you draw Slumber or a Kaiju, you can't really use this. You can't really use it, or Instant Fusion, which you'll see next. But it's still like nice for consistency. Normally I'll side this card out though. 1 Instant Fusion. This actually lost me 1 game. I'll tell the scenario after when I'm saying reasonings to certain cards, but normally this is like fairly good because you just like get something that you've lost. Like the problem about Yosenjus is once they start losing stuff, it's really hard for them to get it back. So if you've lost too much, you can activate this and get Degustal, which I've got in the extra deck. 2 MST. You can run Cosmic Cyclone, but I don't own it. Twin Twisters you don't want to run in this deck because you don't really want to discard. You can if you want to, but it's not really recommended in my opinion. 1 Forbidden Chalice. It just good against Zoo and negates like effects. So, and it's also I've faced the Mirror Match at Casuals, but haven't faced it anywhere else. But it's also good against the Mirror Match. 1 Book of Moon. Again, good against Zoo and other decks as well. Like, it's nice to flip them down. 3 things that you will normally see in Zoo: Fire Formation Tanky. That's your major search, and I don't want it to get hit. I'd want the proper Zoo engine to get hit April 1st. I don't want Tanky to get hit. It is like, that would like cripple this deck, and then I'd have to play like Training Ground, which is nowhere near as good. And occasionally that helped me win games because I also have that extra attack. Dimensional Fissure. Every game I was versing against, not every game, but I think like 3 out of like 2 game or 4 out of 3 matches, I open that against sometimes first turn, sometimes a little bit later, but against 60 card Infernoid, which was a real blowout. Macro Cosmo also against 60 card Infernoid, so you sort of had 2-dimensional fishes in this deck. 3 Vanity's Emptiness, not really. It's 2 lose 1 turns, which is similar to Vanity's, just not as good. And 1 Vanity's Emptiness. Pretty much, like, I think about, for some, I don't know how, like, someone almost claimed I was cheating, but they shuffled and cut my deck, so I wasn't. But about, like, 4 or 5 games out of, like, my 5 matches, so about 4 or 5 games, I opened, like, Vanities or then drew it. And Vanities is just a blowout card against, everyone, and I opened this, like, I think 3 times, like, and that's 2 copies of it. One game I actually didn't open Vanity's Emptiness. 1 Torrential can be a blowout card, and in Yosenju, normally your stuff bounces back to your hand, so that's like a Regeki on your opponent's turn, which is really nice. 2 Starlight Road. Against Twin Twisters, which I didn't see as much, but against the Infernoid, 60 card Infernoids, this was actually really good. I'll show you a board I actually got to make because my opponent Twin Twisted me first turn. I drew that and a few other broken cards, but it also gives you a big body, so if you don't have a body, you have one now. You have the Stardust, because it specials the Stardust, and it just protects your precious back row. So yeah, Starlight Road, but I think I will, like, side out one and only main one, because there was quite a few matchups, like about 3 games where like my opponent had no Spell Trap Destruction or only like MSTs and that sort of stuff, and only the 2 60 card Infernoids, only those 2 games I actually got to use this, because like no one else was really playing Twin Twisters, so I might side out one and put like another card that was inside in the main. 2 Quaking is a good card. I think when it goes to Link format, I'll change these with 3 actual Mirror Forces. Like, they're good, but because Links can't go to face down defense, it isn't as good. And against Zoo, it isn't as good because they can they don't lose their resources. Like, they can't do anything with it, and it is a clogged board, but they still haven't lost anything. 2 Drowning. This is still a really good card, especially if you have nothing on board, just shuffle everything back into the deck. I don't think this came too much from my regional. 1 Solemn Strike, I think I might have drawn this 1 game in the entire regional. I don't own any more, I would run more. I would run the Warning, but the deck's already too big. Now for the extra deck. I run 1 Norden, because of the instant fusion target. 1 Stardust, because of Starlight Road, and it's just like a nice body. Volcanic Guardian against Zoo. I never made this at all. Cowboy, I did Cowboy, almost Cowboy for game once. And there was a situation where if I made another, it would have been game, or if I'd kept my one on board, it would have been game, but he killed it. But I still won that game anyway. It was against a British fellow. And I love Britain, by the way. I've been there. It's a nice country. Abyss Dweller against, like, I've played this not at the YCS. It's not the YCS. I mean, not at the regionals, but at the at casuals, it's been good against like DDDs and all that sort of stuff. Degustal to shuffle your stuff back in. And I actually got this in ABC format, if you've seen my ABC deck, or not ABC format, but YCS Sydney. So I got it before the price jump went up, so that was pretty good. And it also just shuffles your desperate resources you need back. Your Lightning Shidori, it's alright. Sometimes instead of making, like, Castel, you make that, because then you, especially against more like a deck like Paleo or Chainburn, even though I didn't face it today, but sometimes, like, it's better to make that shuffle their face down back into their bottom of the deck, and then shuffle something they have face up to the top of the deck. 1 Gagaga Samurai, this can enable OTKs, but normally you won't OTK with this, but it's just like nice to have that option. And a lot of the time in Yosenju's, the extra deck is a want, not a need. You don't need it, like in Zoo. Like, if you don't have your extra deck, you're pretty much like lost in Zoo. 1 Castel to shuffle stuff back in. 1 Honor Arc, sort of a bit like Castel, but sometimes like more at YCS Sydney. Like, most of this extra deck I never made. Like, the only extra deck cards I made were the Stardust, the Elder Entity Norden, the Cowboy, the Dagustal. think I made the Castel once. But this can sometimes be a body as well if they torrential. It's not dead, not like Castel where it will die as well. Ragnar Zero, I thought that might be good against Zoo. I'm probably going to change that though. The one Utopia and Utopia Lightning, I did make this, but it got Solemn Strike and Solemn Warning, which was sad. One Tiger Mortar for a Ghost Ogre target. Also the Degustal can be a Ghost Ogre target as well. Now for side, I run one Effect Veiler against Zoo and against other decks. One Lancio against DDD's Zoo, against 60 card Infernoid against quite a few matchups. Ghost Ogre, which I'm probably going to main now and take out one Starlight Road, because I feel like Starlight Road's more situational than this card. I do have other Ghost Ogres, but I'm running them in Blue Eyes at the moment, which I haven't played in ages, so I don't know why it's still in there. One Flying Sea against Zoo, and still get good against other decks that need the extra deck. I didn't face any Paylane matchups, but this is also good against Pele. One Ghost Ogre, and we've got our targets. And then even in like some decks, like if they're like rank 4 spam or something, if I somehow ran into one of those rogue decks, you could always take out the Utopia the Lightning or something. There for the monsters inside. Now, Nightmare Bee. To hit dimensional barriers, which doesn't really threaten me, but more against Palos, which I never actually face because they can't respond to it. One MST against Palos or any other spell or trap like Reliant deck, which I think I sided him once, and then a second Forbidden Chalice and Necro Valley. One game, this almost won me the game because I had it all game. And I had it with actually with 2 Imperial Iron Wolves face down against Infernity. The only 60 card Infernoid. The only reason why I lost that game was we went into time and I activated Instant Fusion just before time. He Solemn Warninged my he didn't Solemn Warning, but he negated what I was summoning with his Infernoids, or not negated, but he destroyed what I was gonna summon and negate it with his Infernoids. And then we went to time, and then I Kaiju'd him, but then he made Raiden, so he flipped my Kaiju, so I couldn't kill him, which was really annoying, and that lost me the game. But if we hadn't gone into time, I think I probably would have been able to win. One Trap Stun also against Palos, but also good against like other decks that might use traps on your turn. I would have run Royal Decree, like I was debating Royal Decree or this, but the thing about Royal Decree is it hurts you more than what it hurts your opponent, unless they are playing Palos, because you run you run more spells actually, I found out, but your traps you need to keep you alive. So Trap Stun's quite a bit better. Mirror Force against against Zoo, just in case I needed it. Chain Disappearance against Zoo, but can be used against DDs with their Lamia. One Solemn Warning, just in case I wanted extra negates or against Palo or Zoo or something. Now, one game I also got FTK'd by this Zoo, this Zoo. It was a Zoo Magical Explosion deck. Magical Explosion should get banned. I don't know why that card exists. What happened was, on the board thing, each board had my name on a different table, so I was waiting for my opponent, but they weren't there because on the other board it had my name in a different area, and I didn't check that up, so I got one game lost. But then the other game I had to actually duel the opponent, but he was playing an FTK, so unless I went first and set an MST, I wouldn't have won anyway. So that I sort of don't count on my sloppy behalf of losing. It was more he had an FTK deck. He felt really sorry for playing it against me, but I understand he wanted to win, but I still think Magical Explosion should be banned. But here's one obnoxious board I got to do against this 60 card Infernoid player. I can't remember all the cards I had set, but I had I think about full back row, and I had this set. I think it was this. I think I had the Bluff Dark Hole. I think this was the board I had set. So I had the Vanity set, so it was do-do, do-do, So then he activates Twin Twisters. I activate that, specialing Stardust, and negating his stuff, and then I activate this after. Like, it doesn't come Chain Link 2 because I think he activated something else, but wouldn't have destroyed any of my stuff. And then activate this, and he pretty much auto lost that game because I had that. He did eventually destroy it, but like took him ages, and I eventually won because I had that long of a time with Vanity's Emptiness, and I started all my other back row set. So Starlight Road can come in handy, but I think I'm only going to run one in main now. But yeah, this is my Yosenju deck profile. I'll probably have a new one when Link format comes out, like change the deck a little bit. But this is MP Cards and Games signing out.
So this is like the day a few days after I've actually made the Yosenju deck profile. I've heard the new ban list is out. The day this is uploaded, it's probably like the Saturday after the ban list. But yeah, I'm just gonna look at the bottom. I haven't looked at the top. Yeah, I'm just looking what come back. Sangan came back to 3. Yes, it got Tsurada, so it's not that good anymore, but still nice to see it come at 3. In Link format, I do see it might have quite a few in like capabilities with when they use Tour Guide, then you just tribute off the Sangan, and then you get a search. Slumber to 2, yeah, that does hurt the Yosenju Kaiju a little. I sort of understand because Slumber was a little bit annoying. Yes, Rap here, they actually hit the stupid Zodiac. Hopefully they've hit more. Wisdom Eye, yeah, Pendulums weren't doing that much. Only Metal Foes was doing anything. Limited. Yep, we've got our Imperial Order Rudder. Yes, now my Secret Rare Imperial Order. Too good. Future Fusion, yeah, I think we're just getting all the erratas. Brain Control, yeah, not that good anymore. Brionac, still alright. I've found out combos that I can do with that. Rescue Cat, yep. Maxi Limited, like, I'm gonna have, that's starting to hurt a little bit. Like, it seems like special summoning is a lot easier now. Okay. Vanity, the game. Really? Okay, now I'm gonna have to get a different deck. Vanities is banned. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Why? Why Konami? Why? Like, barely anyone was playing Vanities this format. Did you deliberately want to kill my deck? I'm fine with you hitting Slumber. Ban it for all I care. Why did you hit Vanities? Why did you hit Vanities? I might be the only person in the world saddened by that. But it really kills the deck. Gonna play new deck. This format. This coming format. I got one last week to play it. Tyrant Neptune, yeah, allowed FTK over in Japan. Kurin, yes, that's good that it banned that. But what? Ban Vanities. Dimensional Barrier isn't a problem, Konami. And Zoo isn't that much of a problem. I know, like, semi-limiting Rap P hurts the deck a lot, but you can still make plays. Rip trying to stop your opponent for spamming the board with 20 cards, and Rip Yosenju. I'm out.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see